What's up, guys? This is Kalo, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Community Kitchen, where we are cooking up the latest and greatest gaming news headlines. And who better to join me today than my sous chef, Aiden? Why don't you say what's up?
What's up, internet? We just got back from PAX and it was fun.
It was a fun time, and I just want to shout out each and every one of you guys that popped in, said hi. It's truly amazing seeing this all come together. Meeting you, Aiden, for the first time. This was in person for the first time. We're not these little boxes. So, yeah, it was a great time. Shout out to PAX. Thank you for having us. And speaking about PAX, we're going to kind of sit down and talk about some of our favorite games that we played here hands-on at PAX. And we got through a lot, and there's a few surprises in the mix here. But I want to lead with your game. Dare I call it Game of PAX? We're going to be talking about a little game called Elden Ring Night Rain first. We'll start off hot, you know? We gotta give back here. So, Aiden, tell me about your experience in this amphitheater, this bubble of doom that Elden Ring Night Rain was presented in. Let me know more about it.
Okay. Well, first, everyone, if you're interested, we do have a smaller video up that does talk about Night Rain, about the experience, like right after it happened and everything. But now, if Kevin actually provides my footage, it'll be over here.
There. There.
But I recorded some footage. They had a giant dome in the exhibition floor, and it was like you get an appointment, you go in, and you're with like a big group of people, maybe like 40 of them in the bubble, and one person gets chosen. I was not chosen, but one person gets chosen to go up and be just a guest star basically for the run, and then you just watch a live run of the game, and the two people who were already there that were pre-chosen, one played as Raider, one played as Iron Eye. Definitely locked me in as Iron Eye being my main in that game because Iron Eye just looks awesome.
Mm.
Super excited to play him. Plus, I just love bows, and I'm glad that bows can get visceral attacks now. Oh, so excited! But yeah, I mean, the Raider also looked really cool. It was great gameplay. Like I said, nothing that anyone has seen yet is an entirely on the spot run. They managed to squeak out the win. They showed off some new bosses too, and by that I just mean one boss because they didn't really show off a bunch of things. Really, it was they fought two of the same bosses. They fought the Fell Omen. They also fought the Cerberus dog, whatever. And yeah, I mean we've seen those a million times. But the one that they didn't show before was the Bellbearing Hunter. So he's in it now. And just saying, I also had a talk with the PR people from FromSoft, and one of them a while back we had made a video about what bosses we want to see in Night Rain, what ones we think they'll add and everything. I talked to one of the PR people, specifically was like, hey, I really want to know because I want to know if this boss is going to be in the game, and just mentioned the dancer because I saw a leak about it and it's a boss that I really love. And he looked giddy with excitement, like he wanted to tell me that that boss is in there, and he was like, "Oh, I can't say. Come on." He gave me the runaround, so like it feels like that boss will definitely be in it. I can't guarantee, but it's an exciting time. But yeah,
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Night Rain releases here. It's May. What? By the end of
yeah,
the month?
May 30th.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. I'm sold on this game. It's just a matter of there are other things that are looking to occupy my space. But you know, hey, are
You
we?
need to get it.
I do need to get it. Are we feeling? You said more hyped about Night Rain now than before, or is that needle still kind of in?
Oh, I'm definitely the hype is up there. Like I am ready for Night Rain. I'm excited to get my hands on it. Excited to play as Iron Eye. Oh, and I found out for sure that uh Duchess, that character is not going to be one of the starting characters. Iron Eye will be,
Hmm.
but Duchess, even though you got to play as her in the network test, she is not one of the starting characters. You actually have to unlock her over time. So, get ready for that.
Get ready. Get ready. So I'm gonna start with one of the games I played. It was actually the first game we played on the floor. God Save Birmingham. It's this zombie apocalypse happening in medieval times in Birmingham, in England. And let me tell you, I you always think about zombie survival games as you're in the middle of nowhere. It is like you're scrapping together things. I also want to be clear, this was a very pre build of the game. There was a lot limited within it, but
There's only one weapon, but they
one
promised there will be a lot more.
there's basically they said anything you can get your hands on. I was just using a pitchfork in this demo, but like a knife, there was candles you can use and whack people over the heads.
There's also a torch that he didn't grab.
Apparently, allegedly, there was a torch. I was in the darkness, but that was what I was getting to as far as you're in like medieval times and resources back then were even more scarce. So you really got to plan, plot like where you're going in this environment. The physics in this game, you can like take the ladder and like tip it over and prevent people from getting over to you. The world, albeit it was a very small patch of it, it was like this small village, but ducking in between the houses, like noticing, all right, I can route the zombies this way and kind of scoot around back. There was one point where I launched the pitchfork, it fell behind a fence, and I had nothing to defend myself. I was just pushing people off at that point. It was very much fighting for survival there. And again, I think what's going to make this game stand out is the setting. The setting of Birmingham back in medieval times. I haven't seen something like that. And one of the developers told me that whole village was done to scale. Like they went back and looked up old historical records of the buildings, of the situational awareness of this environment. And yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on this further, try out the different weapons. If you had to compare this game to anything, I'd say it's more like Dead Rising, where it's like, all right, you're taping things together, you're crafting armor, you're really trying to make things count. And yeah, I'm looking forward to God Save Birmingham. Again, very early build, and it looks like it's only going to get better.
You know, I was thinking it looked like Dead Rising. I kind of like during the time I thought it looked like Dead Rising.
Yeah, it was very much like that as far as like, you're not in a mall. Like, it's not as crowded where Dead Rising, there's like 10,000 zombies in one place. This is more of like you got pockets of like 5 or 6 zombies. I didn't see any special zombies to my awareness. But again, those 5 or 6 will mess you up. There were multiple times where I died in this demo. And what made it even worse, like you brought up the torch. I didn't have the torch. But when night fell, it was like dark. It was scary dark.
Yeah.
There was scary twilight where like you can barely make out like shadows and stuff. So again, if there's one thing I had to stress through this whole gameplay, or if you are interested in this game, carry a torch and just make sure you know what you're doing, because you can get overrun pretty damn fast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw him get overrun, folks. I saw him. He was struggling with like 5 zombies on him, going like, oh. And it just became an amalgamation, and it was hilarious. And there were multiple times where he just like walked into a building and it was super dark, he couldn't see, and he was like, no, thank you.
Yep.
I don't want this.
I know better than that, but yeah, again, if I was playing on a controller, maybe that would have been fun. But yeah, needless to say, God Save Birmingham, it's on my radar. I can't wait to get into it. What was your next game on the PAX floor that you enjoyed here?
Next one I tried out was a game called Talon's Blade. Never even heard of it. Just saw it, was like, hey, this looks interesting. Why not try it? Nobody's here. So went over, sat down, had a chat with the developer too. That one will get up at some point, but
Today.
so check that video. Oh, cool. So check that video out as well. But that game was actually really fun. It reminded me a lot of Dark Souls combined with like Kingdom Come Deliverance, because the game was very much every time you fight, you have to call out your like directions of attack, and then they also have a unique parry system too, where you actually have to like go in the direction that the person is attacking you from and click a button at the same time when they attack, so that way you can actually deflect and then riposte. And that makes things a little bit more difficult. It's not like impossible. I was parrying without even knowing that I could parry. So if that's any indication. But it was like very intuitive, I would say. The controls were very easy to learn, very easy to pick up. And the demo, you could very much tell it wasn't finished. There are a lot of armors though, a lot of weapons that you can use. I was running around. I like speed ran it basically. I
You
was
did.
like, oh, let me go off and like kill like 5 bosses in a row, and then also get this NPC to help me. And then I tried kicking him off a cliff because I know Dark Souls and NPCs sometimes end up trying to kill you. So,
Sometimes.
but overall, it was a really great experience. It's definitely a game that's on my radar. I am excited to get my hands on it. So if I think it's available, I think it's on Steam right now for like wish listing and everything. So if you want to check it out, try out the demo if it's available. It's quite a fun experience.
I also want to say before we go any further, if there is a game that we're talking about that you see, video description will have the Steam link to any and all of these games. Um, I want to move on to a game that I was I was super excited to get a look at. And let's talk about Mafia the Old Country. I could tell you right now, playing Mafia 1 Definitive Edition, I loved how cinematic, how the combat felt like very gritty, very like you need to make sure you know you're planning out your shots, you're kind of picking your route. From what they've shown, didn't get a hands on this. I've just watched the trailers and I heard the developers talk about it. They're getting back to formula, and that's what works for Mafia. I feel like with all the other games like 2 and 3, they started getting bigger and started trying to expand more, become more of that more open world style of game. But it's the essence of Mafia 1 that kind of brought me into this franchise, and it looks like they're getting back to basics here. I do want to say this time the authenticity, the time, the love and respect to the game setting, which is old Sicily, stunning. I mean, I was talking about it in our preview video earlier on the show floor. They went to this car garage and they found each of the individual cars that they're going to be using within the game. Greg Miller from Kinda Funny was saying like, "Hey, like to save time and like do a cheap workaround, let's just record one car and copy and paste it for the 5 others." And again, there's all different makes and models. Cars back then were very weird. No, they were like, no, we chose to strap up 15 different mics, get the creaks, get the springs moving, get everything of this car to make sure we deliver that experience to you guys, the gamers. And for me, like talking about games and hearing how development costs are going up, I can only justify that whenever I see this level of attention to detail, respect, and effort are being shown. And again, I could be completely wrong, but I think Mafia, and this is a thing I forgot to mention in our video covering the game, it's only releasing for like $50, I think. I'm going to look that up right now. Which, in 2025, getting a game for that much? It's
Yeah,
coming out.
especially when everyone's talking about $80 price tags at this point.
Yeah, so the standard edition, of course, there's so much stuff. Just make me look at the price. I could have just Googled the price.
The price is $50.
Thank you, Aiden. See, this is why
Found it on Steam. The deluxe edition is $60.
again, I am never one to stake my claim behind a game this early, but from what I've seen, what I know the Mafia developers can do, and this is just like full disclosure, we were invited to this panel. 2K reached out to us and said, "Hey, come cover our game." I'm removing that journalistic side of things and just talking to consumer. $60 for a collector's edition, special edition, whatever. $50 for a base game that looks this damn good. It's almost a crime to not play it. So that's all I'm going to say on this.
I mean, I know nothing about it except for what you've told me, but really, I mean, $50 is great for a game, just like a AAA game in general, or like a AA game. That $50 is a great price at this point in time, just because of how everyone's talking about $80 price tags and everything. And honestly, I mean, I bet you that this one has more substance than anything Nintendo's throwing out. So,
oh, I can definitely guarantee that. A few nuggets that were thrown in the mix here. I want to talk about knife fighting real quick. That seems to be a very big aspect of this game. I was mentioning combat. It looks brutal. Think like Red Dead Redemption mixed in with like the brutality of Gears of War, where it's like you're getting hand to hand combat in this game. You can take a shotgun, peek it over, like cover shooter style, and blow someone's head off. Or you can get into this battle with like I think it was the bosses where like you reach the end of a level, you fight this one dude, and it's a knife fight, and the cinematics what they were showing of knife fighting, stunning. I also want to say real quick, characters from prior games apparently may be showing up within this game. They didn't tell us how, they didn't tell us why, but they said keep your eyes peeled for some older characters returning. And this is a prequel, so it kind of makes sense that characters from 1, 2, and 3 might be in this one. Just putting that out there.
They're just gonna be young.
That was one of the jokes made. It's like, oh, are they going to be a little baby in a carriage somewhere? And one of the developers like, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Just keep your eyes peeled. So yeah, Mafia the Old Country. I'm basically sticking my flag in it. If you don't play it, it's a crime. $50 for a game, again, today, that has this level of detail, this level of industry veterans behind it. I think it's a crime if you don't.
No, yeah, I mean, like I'm agreeing with you on that. I honestly I am at this point because, like I said, I know nothing about it, but just from what Kevin has said, it sounds great. It
Good
sounds
stuff.
worth the money.
Good stuff.
And I mean, I've never even played Mafia, so
Yeah.
and I'm interested in it. So who knows?
And also, too, just in the vein, and then I'll pass it off to you for your next game, where Claire Obscura Expedition 33 releases, I'm playing that, and it's blowing anything AAA out of the water right now. It speaks for itself. But what's your next game here on the PAX floor that we're talking about?
Next one I tried out before the big thing that I saw. The next like little game that I tried out was Nightmare Frontier.
Mm.
That one real fun if you like real-time strategy games. You might want to check it out. It's by the same developer who made Hard West 2 and like Hard West obviously, Ice Code Games. They basically took the formula of Hard West and Hard West 2, kept that whole like Old West theming and everything, and then made it more centralized with like made it more focused on like hand-to-hand combat kind of deal and like also focusing on nightmares specifically. And one of the coolest mechanics in it that I thought that I just absolutely loved was that if you get hit or if you get like affected by like certain abilities and everything, you'll start to experience like nightmares, and your characters will start seeing the enemies in a different light. So like say for instance if one has like arachnophobia or something, then they will start seeing the enemies as like spiders.
Oh.
And or like if someone has a fear of rats, they'll start seeing them as rats and everything. It's like you start seeing the enemies as like different than what they actually are. You can see them as demons and spiders and like all this horrific stuff. And it really works, and it's like it's super amazing. And it's also like I love the layout of it where it's like nonstop until you finally decide to extract, where it's like okay, you're going to this board, then this board, then this board, then this one, and you're getting loot and everything on the way. And then as soon as you feel like okay, I've had my fair share, oh I've had too much, you can just get the hell out of there by hitting an extraction and everything. So it's really interesting, definitely one that I'm going to be trying out more of. And I'm also super interested in like talking to developers and stuff because I was a big enjoyer of Hard West and everything. So there's that. But Kevin, what was your next game?
My next game, and then I think I have two more, so that's good to know. I want to talk about Football Heroes League. This is a game where we're interviewing the developer. I believe that video may be coming out later this week, pending the release of this video, obviously. But keep it locked to Game Sandwich for more of those videos. This one really surprised me. I was heading into it thinking, all right, this is another, like, hero soccer game, another run-of-the-mill thing where I can be like, all right, I've seen this formula before. I know what to expect. But the arcade-style feel this game had, again, the the team behind it are a bunch of industry veterans who've been through like Activision, who have made games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. They've been on Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one. And I like how each of these heroes had their own unique abilities as far as they altered the gameplay. My hands on here, I was trying to prevent a goal from going in. The buddy next to me had this like Frozone ability where he can like generate ice and like slide across the field. He used it in a way where instead of like going over somebody and like around them, he went across our goal and prevented the ball from going in. So it's like those abilities could be used in multiple ways, and that's what I like about it. The one thing I do have to say, as far as like nitpicky, whatever, and this is a thing I asked the developer, it's hard to stand out to be a live service game nowadays. How many times we've talked about this, but for what this game is offering, and I think like there's the Rocket Leagues of the world, I think there's a different space here. They're both soccer games at the end of the day, but again, one's more of driving, this one's more of like hero shooter-esque type deal. And for a guy that normally goes on the attack always and like doesn't think about the team aspect of a soccer game like this, I often found myself like retreating on defense. The two characters I picked were midfielder and attacker, or forward, I believe the soccer term is called. Sorry if you watch soccer and you hate the way I'm talking right now. But they had different classes for that. And my only regret is I wish I played more defender to kind of see how that class worked. But midfielder and forward, both well suited for what it's worth. The speed behind the attackers were great. Midfielder was that nice balance. And I'll just say it, I was undefeated in this demo. Maybe that affected how I feel about it.
The reason why he likes it.
I was just about to say, maybe that affects how I like it. But no, I think they're doing a great job over there. It's available right now. I think you can wishlist it. Or I think it's on the Epic Game Store as well. So go check it out. It's worth just a test. See how it goes. See if you enjoy it. But yeah, I love this game. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from my angle, because I was the one who filmed everything, it did look fun. It did look pretty fun. I personally, it's one that I'm gonna try, but like, I'm not a big sports person, so I don't know if I'll enjoy it. But hey, we'll see. Maybe it'll be a community day stream or something. Maybe we can get John and Andrew into it.
Maybe. All I know is if I'm on your team, you ain't losing. Kalo is undefeated. I put my jersey up in the rafters at PAX. It's still hanging up there somewhere. But what's your next game here?
Okay, so final one here that I got to see. I didn't play it or anything, but it's one that I had talked about. I made a video about it if you want to check it out. But I joined the Borderlands 4 PAX panel. I watched the whole thing. I was there for it. It was very electric and everything. Like, all of the developers, they just have like this sort of aura about them. Makes you feel more confident about the game, honestly. Mm-hmm. And like, this is coming from someone who like, I didn't like Borderlands 3. I'll be open and honest about that. Like, gameplay, fun, loved that part of it. Story wise, I just absolutely like hated it after a while. But with Borderlands 4, it feels a lot different. Everything they talked about, it felt like they really listened to the heart of every conversation that the fans were having and everything, and that they're actually trying to work things out. They talked about how legendary weapons are actually going to be legendary again. They also talked about how the story is like more gritty and everything. The main antagonist, the Timekeeper, is basically just keeping everyone under lock and key, essentially. Like, he's like installed bolts into the back of people's necks and everything in order to like subjugate them. It feels a lot more gritty. It feels a lot more grounded, like the first one and the second one were. And now, like, this isn't to say like, oh yeah, I'm 100% hooked on it no matter what, but I feel very confident about it. I feel like the team's doing a really good job. And I also had like a run-in with like Sam. You may have known him from the from Borderlands 3. He was one of the writers and everything. A lot of people like put blame on him and everything, I know, for like Borderlands 3 being bad and everything. But I talked to him and he also instilled confidence in me. I asked him what he was going to do differently, specifically about for Borderlands 4 to try and make it better than Borderlands 3. And I may or may not have gotten threatened by a certain someone at the from Gearbox because I
Allegedly.
said Borderlands 3 was bad. But hey, my defense, it was, and Sam agreed with me on the story. So I have a right on that. So thank you, Sam
Checkmate.
Winkler, for that one if you watch this. But I talked about that in my other video too, the Gamer Grudge video and everything, where like that run in with him, it really instilled confidence in me about the game, about the story, and basically he understood. Like he said that his hands were tied really with 3, and he also was like that there were some decisions that he wanted to make, but he just couldn't make them and everything. But now he has the opportunity to be able to make them, and so I am. While I'm not like 100% like yes, this is going to be amazing, I'm like at that 90% mark of I have faith in him that he'll do good, and I have faith in the team that they'll make that they'll make it a lot better than it was. And also like, you know, Randy Pitchford also was very nice to me as well. So
Yeah, no,
kudos to you, Randy.
no.
But for that.
I can definitely say there's an air about developers where, like, let's just say they're releasing the next entry in their series, and the prior one was a miss. There's there's almost no like I want to say there's like a disconnection between them and the fans where it's like, no, we're going to stick to this formula and just, hope it sticks. This is where I thought the Borderlands team really took those criticisms to heart, and they really said, like, hey, dedicated drops. They explained why there's no mini map. And while stuff like that, it's more of like just put it in the game, they explained it. Like they said, like this world is going to be big. It makes more sense to kind of have the thing above you in the HUD versus the bottom left. So it's almost like, yeah, like I get the point now. And after hearing it, I want to experience it in practice. Like I want to play the game now and really get my hands in there.
Oh, same.
But
Like, and honestly, just one other thing, like
yeah,
the talk about like the Sam Winkler thing too. It just it takes a big person to separate like what they've made in the past and from themselves and like call what they've made in a previous like time bad.
yeah,
Like it takes a big person to actually accept criticism and be like, "Oh yeah, that was bad. I admit to it. It didn't turn out like how I wanted it to and everything, yada yada yada." So, I mean, if anything, like it shows he is willing to listen and everything, and he does understand that like there were things that didn't work and that they need to make it better.
yeah. No, I fully agree. And you can tell this team is very passionate about what they're cooking up here just by the sheer interactions they've had whenever we were talking to them, and just the overall confidence now that it's like, oh, like we're coming off the heels of not only, let's not forget, like Borderlands 3, but then the movie. There's still the movie out there that it's like we were saying, like that might taint the taste of this game. And so far that has been far removed from my brain as far as like I've seen it, I've heard it, now I want to play it. So can't wait for September.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for September to see what they have cooking. Excited to see what it comes out. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a hit, maybe it's a miss. I'm hoping it's a hit because, I mean, hell, I'm a fan of the series. Hello, see,
Yeah,
fan of the series. Kind of have it vault symbol tattoo. So
right there.
I mean, if anything, I at least hope that it's really good, and I at least have the confidence now that it most likely will be. But Kevin, what's next on your list? I think this is your last thing, right? Or
Final
second to
game.
last? I don't know.
Final
Okay.
game, and then I'm gonna be quiet for the rest of the time here. But Crimson Desert. This was a game I wanted to get my hands on so damn badly. But every time the booth was jam packed with people, which is telling me good things. So hey, that's fine. So the experience was you get loaded into this room, much like Elden Ring. It wasn't as complex where you're like in this fancy dome thing, but like it was a video, and then you got set up at a PC station and you got to play the game. I believe it was like 19 minutes and they had you on a timer. But in this demo, you had a selection of 4 bosses, each with their own level of difficulty. I, of course, knowing my range, I went for the easiest boss because, you know, hey, whatever. But the combat felt very heavy and had weight behind it, which is something I am a big fan of because it's very easy to play games that are very like hack and slash, but it feels like nothing. This one felt like each hit I was landing, I was like holding down the button to really get the effect of like swinging my sword or whatever. Dodging and parrying are your best friends. When I tell you, do it, do it. I didn't, so don't follow my gameplay at all. But again, if I had to compare combat to anything, think Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the Viking aspect of it, mixed with the Dark Souls in you better understand your boss's attack pattern and like when to strike, when is the optimal time to hit this point. And what really got me, I don't know if it was just the beta or whatever we're trying here, I got the boss down to 0 health, but then it was like, no, wait, there's another level to this boss fight. And then I got through that level. But wait, there's like now the bar is red, which indicates he's in his final stage. And
Look at this, folks. He's now finally discovering what it's like to fight an RPG boss.
Exactly. See, be proud of me.
For when you played Dark Souls, that's what a normal boss fight's like.
Oh shit. All right, I'm screwed then. But anyway, like I there were times in this demo where he was called the Stag Lord or Stag something, and he came charging at me with a shield attack. He sent me flying, and you'd think in a video game it's like, oh, I hit a wall, like that's the barrier, it's not going to react, it's not going to do anything. When I tell you he sent me through the walls, he sent me through the trees, and they all cracked and they fell, and they had, like, the environment was fully destructible. These are the things where I'm like, yo, this game was fire. I want to play more of it. I want to fight more people. The open world looks amazing, and much like games like Night Rain where you're gliding through the map and landing at certain points, you can go up high, or Breath of the Wild, I should say. Not Night Rain, because that's more of a battle royale. But like Breath of the Wild, where you're gliding through, it's a big world, and there's a lot going on. You can ride dragons. The only thing I regret, they had face painting at one of the booths. I wish I would have went there and got the war paint, but I'd look like a psychopath going back to my hotel with war paint on. You like get get this homeless man out of the lobby. But yeah, Crimson Desert, cannot wait to play it. But yeah, it's a game I think you specifically, Aiden, you would like too. So might want to look into it.
Me.
Yeah, little old you. So yeah, I mean, do we have any more games on the docket, or are we sending it home?
I have one more game on the docket that was one that we have already like showcased once upon a time in a short, if you can even find that at this point, because it's probably buried in a lot of other shorts that we've done, or that Kevin's done at least, because I don't do shorts. But I played a game that was called Goblin Town. That one's really fun.
So much fun.
I kind of hold resentment against the lady who like spooked me and caused me to die, but oh well.
Gotta lock in, as they say.
Yeah, Goblin Town. It's also called like really hard driving game. It literally is that. It is just like you driving a food truck looking car around a really difficult track that has a ton of obstacles and everything. And it's a blast. Like honestly, like it was just a blast to like drive around, fall off, and then like use my boosters to like try and manage to get back onto a track by going like, okay, let me shunt myself in like 10 different directions and everything. It was great. But yeah, I mean like I had a really long run, and then the lady from like who was like controlling everything, like I guess she thought maybe I died or something multiple times, because I fell off and like landed on the same part of the track like twice in a row, and then managed to get further. And then she tapped me and was like, hey, this is your last run. And I went, what? And like looked, because I was like so invested. I looked, and then all of a sudden I was just flying off the map, and I was like, well, now I'm dead.
Now it's done.
So yeah, but hey, whatever. I still had a blast playing it. I think it's fun to check out. Like I think it'll be a fun one to check out. It's on Steam. You can buy it now. It actually is available, so check that one out. It is on sale for PAX dues. I don't know how long that sale's going on. I don't know if this video will even be up by the time it's over or whatever. But
maybe.
Hey, have a blast with it though.
Yeah, to speak to that game real quick, I think in an era where like it's chained together, I was about to say It Takes Two, but chained together, that was a thing where it's like there are consequences to you falling off the map. Like you can reset your whole run. And then you add in the chaotic driving of it, where I think the driving is far more difficult to control than a person walking up a hill or whatever.
Old school PS2 driving.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's that level, and it's like not a bad thing. It's a very fun and challenging thing where it's like, oh, you hop into this game thinking it's going to be a breeze. No, it's called a really hard driving game for a specific reason. So, yeah, highly recommend you go check out Goblin Town. And who knows, maybe some familiar faces from that game could be on the channel sometime soon. So, stay tuned for that. But do we have anything else to say in closing here?
No, I mean that's every game that I saw. Again, hey, great work to all the developers. I mean, the
Yeah.
games that we saw were a lot of fun. So kudos to you. Keep
Yeah.
them coming. You guys are doing great.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can say as far as like there are plenty of other games we're going to be talking about, maybe via a short or whatever. These people are passionate about their games, rightfully so. And it's one thing to get on the show floor and play essentially what is their child. They're bringing this game into the world, and they're really proud of it, and you can tell by each of the way these developers spoke. And shout out to PAX for having us out. Like, this is a big step for us as far as Game Sandwich and our support here from the people who watch these videos, like you guys. Thank you. We've seen a few of you out there. Again, that's an experience I truly will never forget. And yeah, I mean, Aiden, I don't know if you have anything else to say in closing here.
I mean, like Kevin said, thank you for those who were there. It was surprising to see people who knew us there,
Very shocking.
but like it took me by complete surprise because I mean, especially because like I came out of the Night Rain thing and then Kevin was like, "You got to meet this guy.
Yeah.
He knows us," and I was like, "What?"
Shout out to Johnny.
That's so weird.
He's there.
So,
I hear
yeah,
him.
shout out to Johnny there. So yeah, if you are watching and you made it to the end of this, hey, good. Shout out to you.
Shout
You're
out.
awesome. Thank you. And yeah,
It was a great time.
it was.
And
Can't
hey,
wait for next year.
I was about to say next year we're gonna be on that show floor again, hopefully. So that about does it here for this episode of Community Kitchen. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you want, maybe subscribe, maybe drop a like on this here video for more content just like this, and join our Discord where we're always talking about our favorite games and stuff in general. But as of right now, for this episode of Community Kitchen, I've been Kalo, joined by Aiden, and we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.